all kinds of ways. So I haven't seen his Setsuka yet. He's played it a little bit, hence the C rank. So we'll see if he has the just frames down, if he understands the matchup. Presumably, it would be at least a little bit difficult to try, because, I don't know, at least in my opinion, Zas can be a relatively complicated character to figure out matchup for matchup. We'll see.
No. I don't care what people say about just, like, you know, the easy execution options that Setsuka has. This character is still hard as fuck to play.
Hard as fuck?
Hard to play, damn it, Jay.
I mean, those are... I really feel like those were the words that you used, so I can't say. I'm not a scientist. I can't say for sure. So it seems like both of them are just kind of throwing attacks at each other at the moment. I'm not necessarily seeing... I do appreciate the fact that Drew got a lead early and has decided to back up as much as possible and kind of like forego any sort of mid-range kind of thing. His guard pressure is getting a little bit bad, but at the same point, he won that first round pretty convincingly, so it's going to be a matter of if Feremuntrus, which is what typically happens with Feremuntrus, in my opinion, where it seems like he doesn't do all that well in the beginning, and then he kind of gets warmed up as to the rhythm and the rhyme of his opponent.
Get warmed up, try to get a little bit of information from your opponent in the first round, but gets a lot of guard pressure, so he's finally got a knockdown, so maybe he can get paid this round, just from the investment that he put into this guard pressure, but... Oh, tries to not so much stealing his turns, as opposed to like taking his turns.
That was supposed to be a 2-2B, I presume. Feremuntrus now has to question whether he... Okay, so if he wins this reversal edge, he should be A-okay.
Oh my god!
So instead he doesn't lose because Superflydrew sucks.
Level 3 GI, but who baits the 3 GI? That's Superflydrew.
Gee whiz. Alright, Feremuntrus. He had 2 rounds to figure out how to win the next 3. Now it's time to feel that rhythm, feel that rhyme, get on up, it's guard break time.
So that was beautiful. And we'll see if you can heed your advice here. Or you getting life lead and using that.
I can't believe you thought that was beautiful and you didn't say anything about my Daft Punk. Oh no, don't tech there. That's a tech trap. I mean, you were probably going to eat a ton of damage anyway, but you really increased the damage there to such an incredible degree. Yeah.
You got deleted, dude.
Yeah, you can't, you can't tech incorrectly against Ass, nor can you tech, like, not at all, against Ass. Don't let what Zaz players tell you, sway your mind. There is no good answer against this character, except for maybe, I guess, 6XA over and over again.
And very much it's just kind of Drew, just, like, letting him rushing it down, getting a lot of counter hits. Struggling to get a hit in is all Superflydrew, getting around the CEGI. That is pretty clean. That's Superflydrew for game 1.
So yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of spaghetti going on, but predominantly what's happening is that I feel like Feremuntrus is trying to use spacing and movement overall to try and get away from Drew, and in my personal experience, I really don't think that that's the way to go against Setsuka. Setsuka doesn't really let you move around when you're doing that sort of thing. There's a lot of buttons that are very, very fast, especially compared to Zaz. So I wonder if he's going to try and like keep him out or try to scrap in close with buttons as opposed to movement more often.
Yeah, I would say maybe less of the turn stealing stuff that we know Feremuntrus for, and more just kind of like properly like just like take your turn.
Yeah, and come to think of it, we didn't see any twisters or umbrellas from Drew. We're seeing a lot of shaking about that does put her in basically a permanent tech crouch as she's like sidestepping or like forward stepping all jiggy with it.
Yeah, we're just seeing a lot. Nice. We're seeing a lot of 6XBs, a lot of 6As. So I would like to see
Feremuntrus within the middle of your sentence.
Yeah.
Like that.
I just kind of looked up the ceiling at the moment, like, huh, that was good. That was nice. But it would be nice to see Feremuntrus kind of like targeting one over the two, right? Like 6A is very duckable, 6B is very steppable. That's a nice block, just didn't get the punish there.
Yeah, he's not getting a punish on any of these things, so definitely a lot of character ignorance that we're seeing. It looks like what he's decided to do is try and slow it down. Not a surprise, trying to go for more mix-up-y type stuff, but the thing is that I feel like this timing is very similar to what he had in the first round, so frankly speaking, I feel like if Drew just kept doing what he did in the first game, he'd be fine. So I don't know why he decided to slow it down to match Feremuntrus' pace.
Like Feremuntrus is slowly catching on. Earlier that was like a nice sidestep. Setsuka has some issues with dealing with stepping. Horizontal mids are not all there. 3A is fine, but it's slow. I-20.
Yeah, again, a very typical... Oh, nice grab out of the CE. Man, Feremuntrus' CEs have been terrible so far today. But yeah, that's been a very that's been a very typical thing for Setsuka to have as a weakness, is linearity. Very similar to what we were talking about with Raph, though I don't entirely think that that's true about Raph in this game specifically.
And I felt like that was a must-win round for Feremuntrus just because he invested so many resources just for that round, and it was just so close, so he still has some work to do.
Yeah, it is true. He Drew is 2 rounds down, but he is fully stocked up, both on bar and in flowers, petals. So we'll see if he's able to do anything. The main thing that he wants to apparently do is get into Soul Charge and then whiff horizontals. Let's see how that works out. Okay. You know, Setsuka does have, like, this one low that's, where she counts up to 5. It's a pretty good low. I wonder if he's going to try and use it.
Well, didn't get the chance that time. I'm not sure he's going to get a chance in this game, too, because that's going to be Feremuntrus taking the whole match into Game 3. Yeah, we're talking about, like, Setsuka's, like, lack of tracking, but, like, once she pops Soul Charge, I think she's just, like, super-duper strong Soul Charge, especially with the 1A series, you know, knockdown low that leads into a mix-up, the 6-8 plus B, which is, you know, a horizontal mid break attack that's long range. So it kind of covers her, you know, some of her weaknesses, as opposed to being non-Soul Charge. But it was a big deal that, like, at that moment, Superflydrew was just not able to take full advantage of the Soul Charge. Feremuntrus just being able to play around it.
Yeah, I feel like a large chunk of what we saw in that second game was the fact that at a certain, like, handful of character spacings away, Feremuntrus was able to keep up the spacing to a significant degree and ended up trying to, rather than trying to do pressure that was eventually going to bring Setsuka in, stuff with like 3AB charge and stuff like that, he ended up just trying to dissipate his pressure with stuff like 1B and mixing up the hit levels. And so now it's going to be a matter of, I really don't think that Setsuka / Drew is going to try and like outspace Feremuntrus' ass. I don't think that that would necessarily be all that effective. I think it's going to be a matter of if he can figure out a way to maintain his ability to keep pressure in the pocket. Though, of course, you do run into the potential effect of running into moves over and over again as that's just like kind of crushing Drew's life bar already.
Yeah, the Otis is definitely on Drew to try to, like, you know, gap close and, you know, close the space between himself and Feremuntrus. Feremuntrus, at least in the beginning of the round, was like pretty good at just kind of like catching the approaches, but Drew is, oh my god, on the defensive now, and Feremuntrus putting up so much pressure, and Superflydrew just blocking for so long, but can't block forever. Feremuntrus in a pretty swingy round, that one.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Drew tried so hard. He baited the RI after the safe on RE move when he was charging up a reversal edge, and then it just didn't pan out simply because Zas had a little bit of a backswing blow to the animation of his next move, and it made the RE whiff. Now that being said, he did end up just crushing that entire round by the time I finally finished my one sentence. So. And he has the meter advantage. He's almost fully stocked up on his flowers. He already has Moon Laser and whatever the red one does.
Oh yeah, more damage on the umbrella.
Oh, okay. I know the Snowflake and I know the Moon. I didn't know the red.
But just one more Snowflake will, you know, power up that soul attack and basically becomes probably the best soul attack in the game just because you get so much damage.
Oh, it has to be, right? Off of a lethal hit, it has to be the best soul attack.
We haven't seen it so far.
Would be Howlmaru.
Getting a lot of counter hits, no Snowflake yet, but there it is, even with throw break. But Feremuntrus just whips out a soul attack that whiffs.
Alright, only one bar for Feremuntrus potentially for the rest of this game. I wonder if Drew hopefully isn't going to make it too obvious that presumably as the Setsuka player he's going to be trolling around for that soul attack. Or he's just going to tech crouch under everything. Thought that he had sidestepped the string, but that was a very foolish thing to think if you're playing against Zasalamel. Gets the RI on the Soul Charge activation, and he's getting mixed up.
Once again, Feremuntrus not letting Drew use that Soul Charge at all, getting a life lead. I don't see a reverse string out coming from Superflydrew, but that's going to be Feremuntrus. So clutch.
Now that being said, Drew still has double bar. Feremuntrus is potentially going to get one of his own. But if Feremuntrus can make it so that Drew ends up running into some of his moves more often, then he should be good. He doesn't really have any place to run, and he's kind of making that obvious. So already lost the majority of his health without getting that bar. Now he has it.
Yeah, Drew's pressure was on point at the first half of this round, just going for the pressure and just checking him with stuff like 2A and the 12 frame mid, that 214K. But that's gonna be it for Feremuntrus. Superfly